All right, welcome to the Nurse and Psycho Show. I am Lana Anderson, and I am the psycho. I'm the psychologist, I'm the psychotherapist, and my co-host
is a drum roll, please.
Margaret.
The nurse, who tends to be a little bit psycho herself. So, right?
All right. So we are talking today about the mind and gut connection. Oftentimes people think of those as two separate issues or two separate things, but just like everything, we are humans with lots of layers and lots of interconnection. You know how you, I don't know what grade it was in, the femur is connected to the, help me out here, Margaret.
No.
Right? Like we're all connected. Like
right.
everything is connected. This bone is connected to that. Everything is interconnected, mind, body, soul. Our gut is really our first brain. Our brain is really just gray matter. Without all of this information coming from our gut, it doesn't get to our brain. So we want to make sure that our gut is taken care of so that we're thinking clearly, our mind is clear. We have not brain fog, all of those things that cause issues, anxiety, depression. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we would love to have you formulate any questions that Margaret and I might be able to help you with that's going on in your life, or people who you care about, family, friends that you want to help as well. And I know, Claudette, you're already on some things that are hopefully helping for you, and we'd love to share any improvements that you've seen too. Margaret, what you got for us? I know that you went down a rabbit hole. Tell us about your rabbit hole.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's just unbelievable out there. First of all, I'm jealous of your background, your beautiful backyard, because we're freezing here on the East Coast, which for me personally brings up the seasonal affective depression disorder, which is actually a real thing. When it gets cold and cloudy and miserable here, we can't get out. Who wants to go out for a stroll or work in the yard when it's raining and cold and miserable? So the people that are on the East Coast are in a climate where I know it showed, didn't it just show Minnesota or something snowing? I mean, that's sad. It's very
Yes.
sad. Right? So this time of year, it's even more vitally important to be plugged in and in tune. Me personally, this is when my sickness started last year, this exact time last year. And that's what ended me up on your doorstep in Mother's Day of 2022, this past year. And thank God Mark saw me. Your husband saw me. He took one look at me, and he can tell you more about himself, but I mean, this is a man that owned numerous gyms for many, many years. He knew everything about supplements and everything. And you yourself also, owning many yoga studios. So you guys are in the know about products out there. And he said to me, I have never found anything like this power drink. Do you want to try it? And it literally saved my life. So if you're out there and if you're suffering and if you've been told by your doctor, well, that's IBS and you're just going to have to live with that. No. You do not. Suffering is optional. Literally.
Suffering
Right?
is optional.
Suffering
Yes.
is optional.
We don't have to live with it.
No, we don't.
So that's one of my challenges. And what I really love to help people with is word phrasing and language, because when our words, they affect how we uh, have our emotions, our body. It affects everything on how we talk to ourselves, how we talk to others, how we receive information, and how we give information back. So if you have a disorder or a disease that's been labeled, a lot of times we become that. So, for example, my husband was diagnosed with Lyme's disease. To me, it's all bullshit. That's my psycho in me. Like, literally, it's all bullshit, right? Because
Mhm.
it means nothing, because it's just a collection of symptoms that someone said, this is what's showing up, this is what's showing up, this is what's showing up, and we're going to call it this. And the reason we're going to call it this is because then we have a number to code and bill
Exactly.
for the insurance companies. And
Hmm.
then we have something that we can go, okay, now what prescription goes with this? But the
Right.
prescription isn't the cure or the answer. It's just a band aid to the symptoms, the collection
Exactly.
of symptoms. So I
Mm.
like to work backwards when I'm working with people. So when anyone says any diagnosis, whether it is a mental health diagnosis or a physical diagnosis, I work backwards because I want to get to the root of the issue, because you can
Right.
call it whatever you want to call it. It's not going to help anything. It's not going to
No,
solve it. So we got to get
no.
back. We got to peel off the layers, peel off the
Mhm.
diagnosis, peel away to get each symptom and how they interrelate to one another. And almost it comes down to the gut.
Yes.
And there's lots of other energetic things that could be happening too, right? Because the
Yes.
energetics of the sacral chakra area, the energy field of the sacral is so much going on. It's our area of metabolism. It's our area where we metabolize emotions, thoughts, food, everything in that area. So if it's not healthy energetically, because of what we're doing or not doing, how we're bringing it in or not bringing it out. There's stuckness or too much fluidity. So we want to balance it out.
Right. Right. And that's, the reason why I went into being a certified health coach, because I was so limited to what I could do in the nursing arena. And I have a couple of people I'm working with now, and the first thing we do is we meet in the park and we walk. We walk and we talk. Like, not we're not going to sit in a room and me with my paper and all. Nope, we're out in the fresh air, and every single time they're like, this is so awesome, this is so great, because we're not only discussing the issues, but we're out getting fresh air and sunshine and exercise, which are like three top things that you need every single day. That's the quantum biology, is that sunshine, how vitally important it is, with no sunglasses, with no glasses on, with no sunscreen, just pure sunlight. 20 minutes a day if you can. In the morning and the night is great for your eyes.
And that activates the melatonin. So
Mhm.
I think a lot of there's this misnomer about melatonin that it should only be used at night. Well, that's not true. So when we get exposure first thing in the morning to the sunlight, like you're saying, Margaret, right, is
Yep.
it activates our own melatonin, our natural melatonin in our bodies to help the circadian rhythms throughout the day, to help
Exactly.
you function during the day and then come down at night.
And the worst thing you can do at night is be on your screens, your cell phones, and your computers, because it's got that blue light which imitates midday. So now you're telling your brain, wake up. It's really 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's why people, I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. It's just like, oh, let me just scroll before I go to bed. I have to make a conscious effort. Like pick up a book instead. Trust me, you'll be asleep in like 3.5 minutes. You'll wake up in the morning with the book like stuck on the side of your face like I do.
Mhm. I'm
Yep.
wondering, Bob or Claudette, if you have any questions that we might be able to help with or support you with, because that is really what we're here for. We want to be able to share um, any bits of wisdom that we have. Feel free to come on to or off of mute or in the chat too.
I don't, I'm not a good example. I got started okay, but mornings are just such a crazy rush for me to take the time to make the shake and to drink it, or even to drink. Yeah, I'm struggling to make it fit in the morning. So I have not been good about it at all. I still have my stuff, but I am gonna have some surgery in January, so that will be a really good time for me to get started on it and to be able to be to start making it a habit and that kind of thing, because I'll be home for a couple weeks and I won't have to go anywhere and I won't be rushing out the door or anything like that.
I think, you know what? I think that's cool, right? Because sometimes we don't have to go all in and crazy unless you have a really serious, like chronic or really acute issue. Maybe, there's something super serious that needs to be dealt with. And so right now, I know you have a couple digestive issues that you're working with, and maybe you just filter those few things in, have a power shake once a day
Mhm.
and add the biomed in there too. The biomed, you can just mix it right in like a little ninja, and add the amino acids in there, and that will at least help you get started in the right direction. But you don't always have to go full on. Margaret has her story too.
Yeah, I didn't honestly. When I showed up at Mark and Lana's door, at the Blistopia Retreat House in Mother's Day of this past year, before I got sick, I weighed 165 pounds, like 5'8.5", and I weighed 108 pounds. Like there was nothing left of me. And in the beginning, like the first 3 days I was there on the retreat, Mark made me a power shake twice a day. And by day 3, I could already feel the difference in my body. Like I felt like life had come back into me. I had chronic constipation. And I was able to, stop moving my bowels a little bit better. And so when I got home, I immediately ordered my own package, and literally for the first probably at least month, all I did was the power shake, because I was so concerned of all the things that happened to me previously. If I had any sort of reaction or anything, I would know what was what. So if I just focused on that, then if I had any issues, which I didn't, and literally, I mean, just in that short period of time from May till now, I now weigh 130 pounds. It's the only thing that worked for me. And I just took it slow, and I added the supplements later on when I felt like I was a little bit better, in a better place. And the other thing is too, like Lana always says, this is your practice. This is your practice. Listen to your body. No one knows you the way you know you. And if your body is like not feeling it that day, that's okay. That's okay. Just be patient and listen to yourself, and it will guide you. It will guide you on what to do.
So I have to ask, how are you here in Minnesota at Blistopia and now you're in New York City?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I live in Boston. And
Mm.
can't you tell from my accent? Wait a minute. Let me say Carla.
Okay.
Right, Lana? She's like, what? Carla? What are you saying?
Kala.
Carla.
Kala?
So I
We're
live
going
in
to the Kala
Boston.
Cafe?
Yeah. And I was really sick with it ended up being SIBO, small intestine bowel whatever disease. What's SIBO? You know, and I was so sick, and no, the doctors could not help me. Basically, they said to me, drink a couple Ensures and we'll Zoom call you in 6 weeks. Like, we don't know what to tell you. So I Google searched. I just needed someplace warm. I was just cold and I just needed to be warm. And there was a couple of places in Arizona, but one of them was like a medical place where you stayed for like 2 weeks, and it was all these and I was done with the pills. I'm like, no more pills, no more powders, no more nothing. Nothing's working for me. And I sent a message to Mark and Lana at Blistopia, and they called me on the phone and they were like, we can help you.
Mhm.
Come. And of course, I didn't know anything about Lana's history. She's like superwoman, like,
Yes, yeah,
I didn't
I know.
know. I didn't know, but I didn't know. And so they were the only ones that were willing to help me. And at that point, I had nothing left to lose, and I just needed to be warm. I said to them, I'm like, I just want to like lay on your pool that like area there and just like a lizard and just be like, and literally, honestly, in 3 days, I was already feeling better. Like a spark of life came back into me. And
Yeah.
it was, again, like Lana said, it wasn't just the power shake. It was the energy of the retreat house. It was like I had taken a walk with Lana and I had shared a lot of like personal things because I had no one to talk to. And she just hugged me and said, you can be part of our family. You're part of our family tribe now. And I've been to been to Arizona like 5 times since Mother's Day, and they just welcome me and say, come, come be with us. And so it was their energy. And I did a healing session with Lana, and, Mark just loved on me, and Bodhi, right? I got
Oh,
the
yeah,
Bodhi love.
it's
So
cool.
it was mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. It was all those pieces that pulled together.
And Claude, did you mention that you're from New York?
That's why I assumed she said East Coast, and I was thinking the city, so I wasn't thinking Boston. But yeah, after you said that, I was like, oh yeah, there's a
Yeah.
little too much rolling in there to be from the city.
Yeah, I've got that Boston accent, I guess.
Yes, but it's all good. I'm from upstate New York, so people always say, well, but you don't have an accent. I'm like,
Yeah,
no, no,
you
no.
don't.
Think Canada, because it's like jelly donuts and A is what I say. A all the time.
Okay.
So
Hey, okay.
we're like 8 hours north of the city. Think like Vermont. That's
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But you mentioned a really good point, and I had kind of touched base with Lana about this also, is that I know with the people that I work with, the number one thing that I hear is, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time for this. I don't have the time to do yoga. I don't have the time to exercise. And the takeaway from that is, it's like, imagine when you're on an airplane, and what did they say to you? If there's an emergency, right? Put your mask on. For if you can't take care of yourself and put yourself in that number one spot, how in the world can you take care of everyone else in your life? You really can't, because you're running on fumes. You're running on fumes. And that's why there are so many women, and not that there's not single dads out there. I know that there are, but that's why there's so many today that are on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medicines. They're on all of this type because they go to their doctor and they're like, I'm so stressed and I can't sleep, and and my heart's racing, and and they're like, write the scripts, right? And once you're on those, good luck. Good luck getting off, because first of all, you're not going to be supported by the medical community. They're going to be like, oh no, Oh no, you have to take those. It's really bad if you stop, and then that locks us back into a beginning conversation is the effect that they're having on your gut, your
Mhm.
digestive system, every cell, every membrane in your body, if it can't identify it because it's not from nature, it stores it as fat.
Mhm.
So that's why we all have those. And people say to me, I'm fat. I'm like, you're not fat. Look at your arms. Look at your leg. There's no fat on you. It's your stomach. You're bloated. You have what's the word I'm looking for? Inflammation.
Yeah.
It's inflammation.
Mhm.
That's not bad. You're inflamed. Your gut is also backed up, and there are villi in the process when you have peristalsis, and they get so gunked up, almost like the crap that's on the like your battery when you go, that one your car won't start. And you open up, you're like, oh Jesus, maybe it's the 12 inches of gunk that's on my connectors. It's the same thing. Everything gets so gunked up that they can't work properly. They can't filter. They can't do the work. And that waste product sits in our intestines and it ferments.
Mhm.
And that gives off gases and that causes bloating. And so it's just this think of like a merry-go-round that you're just going round and round and round, and you just feel sick and you're tired, and people have headaches, and it's just take a pill, like Lana said. Take a pill. Everybody just take a pill. Well, they're not working, obviously. Look at our population.
Mm.
We are the sickest generation on recorded history, and that includes our children.
Mhm.
Our children, I was just down a rabbit hole today. 40%, 46% of our children are being affected. The rates have gone through the roof of autism, ADHD, asthma, juvenile diabetes, cancers, leukemias, never seen before in the history of
Mm.
our world.
No, I live that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I have it. I have a grandson that's on the spectrum. I have two great nephews. It's never been in my family before, and all of a sudden, it's like there's 5 kids, and 3 out of the 5 have autism.
Yeah.
We're
Those
on
are scary
a
numbers.
mission. We're on a mission for that prevention,
Hmm.
right? And
We absolutely are.
I believe that there is an answer and a solution to all that. And I believe it is in our gut.
Mhm.
I think if we can get our gut healthy, free of glyphosates, free of Monsanto, free of the pesticides. Of course, that's really hard because we live in basically a whole cesspool of glyphosates from our air to our food to our water. It's even in the breast milk of brand new mamas that are feeding their babies.
Yep.
So that's one of my missions, is to have healthy babies come out of our mamas so that we don't have to have babies that struggle or suffer, right? Suffering is optional. We can make this better for our children and for our mamas. Because when our children are suffering, mamas suffer, grandma suffers. Because we don't ever want to see our kids suffer. And we take on a lot. We take on so much when we see our kids not doing well or
Yeah.
understand. It's very, very difficult. So that's what Margaret and I are here for, to help support our children get better, our mamas feel better, our communities feel better. And we're going to do that through superfoods, through meditation, through yoga, through community involvement, all of those things. So we're here for you.
Mhm. I wish you were here, still here in Minnesota.
I I
Yeah.
write here. I write here.
We need to
Claudette.
clone her, right? We need to
Oh, yeah.
clone her.
For
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Or you all can just come here.
You don't have to ask me twice, as you've noticed. Funny little side story. After my first time going there for Mother's Day, Mark had contacted me and he was like, "Hey, you left a pair of shorts here." I'm like, "Well, damn, I'm gonna have to come get them then." And he's like, "You're welcome here anytime." I'm like, "Buddy, I'm on a plane." Like, seriously, you don't have to ask me twice to go there. It's like heaven on earth. It literally is. It's the most wonderful, peaceful. Oh, I can't say enough. I cannot say enough about my buddies. They're the best.
Aw, we love you,
Sorry.
We love you,
Shameless
Margaret.
plug. Sorry.
Hey, I did want to, I also want to mention that because so many people are on antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, I mean, a record number, especially over the last 2 to 3 years. And 90% of your serotonin is made in the gut lining. So when we're bringing in medications, antibiotics, all those things, they damage the gut lining. Glyphosates damage the gut lining. They literally put holes in the gut lining, glyphosates do. So when that's damaged, it's the serotonin is not going to be produced like it needs to. So we're working on healing the gut lining through these superfoods that are free of glyphosates, made in regenerative soil. And so every time you ingest those, you're working towards healing. So even if that means, Claudette, 1 shake a day, you're working towards healing.
Right.
And so let it be 1 shake a day right now. And then maybe you add something else, and then you take away something else. And then you just keep moving in that direction. And then have the kids, have a power shake.
It's not going to happen.
You'll be surprised.
No, we have, my mom, Lana knows some of my stuff, but my mom has had digestive issues and stuff and polyps in her tract and everything. She's actually had part of her colon removed now. And she can't eat no white sugar, white flour, white anything, no chocolate, no coffee, no white rice. And now she's at the point where she pretty much can't have anything with any sugar in it whatsoever. So she's very, very limited on what she can eat. So, and that's been a progressive kind of thing. So us kids were, raised, we would go to the health food store and she would try and replace the chocolate with carob. And that stuff's terrible. But she would, seaweed soup and, and it was in the early days of health food, And so then when my kids came along, then she would come to my house and she would buy healthy stuff. And she had this stuff at one point and it looked like green swill, And so that's actually what my older boys remember. And and I'm a divorced mom and the ex won't, he doesn't, even though he now has diabetes himself, his thyroid shut down and he's been on meds forever. He has high cholesterol and 3 of the 4 boys have already been tested for high cholesterol. He won't make them, he won't, diet. He has made diet a bad word. And so I have to try and turn it around. I'm like, diet is what you eat. That's it. It's not, it doesn't have to be green swill. It doesn't have to be whatever. Diet is what you eat. Just so.
And what
So
you
I
don't
have-
eat.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So now I have teenagers that drink soda like it's water, just like their father did. And, so
Stuff is
I,
the worst.
I know.
Ugh,
So I
I
can
stand.
It's
control
addictive. Yeah.
what I can,
Right.
The sugar is an addiction. It is. And it's,
Oh, absolutely.
and that's like, okay, there's so much like in our control and out of our control, right? Society pushes those
Mhm.
pops. I mean, how can we have pop available in our schools, right?
Right.
That's a
Yeah.
whole nother thing. So at least in your house, in your house, well, we don't have it,
Right.
you know?
Well, to make you feel a little bit better, Claudette, because misery does like company. March 2021 survey, 80% of adults did not actively seek health benefits from food. Nearly $173 billion is spent on healthcare for obesity. And over 70% of the sodium we eat comes from packaged, processed, store-bought, and fast food.
Yeah.
Like, we're like Lana said, we're literally living in a cesspool.
Oh, for
And
sure.
they're saying, yeah, but evidence-based practice says, well, evidence-based, why aren't there more guidelines? Why, like with schools?
Because it
Like,
wouldn't make them any money.
Right,
exactly. Ding,
exactly.
ding, ding, ding. She gets the gold star. Gold star students.
I
I'm
have
wondering,
all
I
four
wa-
of my boys have had IEPs pretty much all the way through school. Two of my boys, one of them I have guardianship on, he's on the spectrum, and then John, who's a senior this year, I'm just started talking to the attorneys because we'll be getting guardianship on him as well. So my only neurotypical kid is my youngest, who's 16 going on 60. He's a very old soul, but
Yes.
I can't tell him anything,
Mhm.
you know.
Right.
And they have their father in the background, and I was just at parent teacher conferences, which of course I did everything, and I was going and whatever. So he found out from the boys that I was going and says, oh, well, what time are conferences? And then he piggybacked on me and joined me.
Mm.
And then I'm finding out, well, John is talking to him about everything. Jake is talking to him about everything. Jake has a girlfriend. And I don't know any of this.
Well, a part of it
Yeah.
is a boy thing.
yes.
But I have five children, three girls and two boys, and the girls are like, blah. I'm like, too much information. The boys are like, how you doing? Good.
Good, fine. How was your day?
Nothing.
Fine.
It's just like they identify more with the males at that age.
Mm,
And so unfortunately, as a mom, I mean, I do have to do the same thing. I just have to step back and say, okay, you be a bro, that's okay.
I think as our kids grow up and they're teenagers and young adults, like I just step back because we can't control them. That's not our
Mhm.
job. But what we can do is role model. So, when I'm drinking my power shake, when I'm, eating healthy, when I'm minding my relationships, all of those things, they do watch.
Mhm.
Eventually they come around or they don't.
Mhm.
Right? But they still are watching, but it is their choice. But you got to take care of you. You got to take care of
Exactly.
you. That's priority one. And
Mhm.
then whoever's watching you, they're watching. They're like sponges. Just one quick
yeah.
thing before we wrap it up with that on my part is they're watching. I had my younger son Logan call a few months ago, and he said he had a specific question. He said, "Mom, what was that thing that you did in your mouth, like that you were swishing around in your mouth?" I said, "Like the oil pulling?" And he said, "Yeah, that thing, like how do you do it and what kind of oil did you use?" I said, so I told him I do coconut oil and I put some tea tree oil in there and put it in my mouth and swish it around for about 20 minutes. And he's like, "Oh, okay, because I want to try that." And he's 23.
Mhm.
So they were watching, they weren't necessarily saying that they're going to do it, but there's something that triggered him to say, that was healthy. My mom was mindful. She didn't push me on it, but they're watching.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, they are. Absolutely.
So that's the last thing I have to say.
Mhm.
Margaret,
Yeah.
What's your last words of wisdom on mind, guts, connection, and anything mama related, right? Because
Well, I honestly just think, like, you have always said that just be patient with yourself. Just love yourself. Just understand, like, if you walked 5 miles into the woods, you've got to walk 5 miles back out. And this is a journey and it's a discovery. And like, I'm like as lazy as the day is long. So, like, just doing pajama yoga 2 mornings a week with Lana, I think I'm a rock star. Like, I should be like an Olympic athlete or something, get a gold medal for that. It's just I listen to my body. I just if it tells me I need this, then I do it. And I don't care what other people think or what other people say. We are so programmed. We are so programmed that, oh, you got to do this and this has got to be no, 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 no. Listen to your higher self, listen to your higher consciousness. It's trying to guide you, it's trying to support you. It has you here tonight with
Mhm.
us. And that's the message for people. We are here to support you. We will not marginalize you. We will not judge you. We will try to support you. And if there's something that comes up that we don't know the answer, my ego isn't that big that I'm not afraid to say, I don't really know the answer to that, but hell, I'll know, but I'll know in 15 minutes because I will get on my laptop and be like, "Duh, duh, 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 duh." I'll find out for you, and that's our passion that we just Lana and I just connected in that way, that we just want to help people. To see somebody suffer, to me, like, we were put here to thrive and survive and have wonderful, happy, healthy lives. And if anything that we can do to support that, I'm raising my hand. I'm in.
by the way,
Absolutely.
Claudette, if you can make it to yoga in the morning.
It's wonderful. All you have to do is roll out of bed in your pajamas and hit the mat. I mean,
She's come
What
a couple
time?
times, 6 a.m.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
if I can do it, you can do it.
you've made it a couple times.
Yeah, tomorrow, every other Friday, I have to be somewhere at 8 o'clock. So,
Oh, is it Friday tomorrow?
yeah,
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hello. Oh,
that's
never
why I was
mind.
thinking, I was like, are you doing Fridays now? Okay, cool, but I can't do it this Friday.
Yeah, we
Oh,
won't mention
well,
Fridays.
it's
I
Friday.
won't say anything. Nothing said.
Time is irrelevant.
Irrelevant. It doesn't exist.
It
But for
doesn't exist.
anybody else that's listening or may listen, they're not here live, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this video, especially if there's people in your life that are sick and suffering and have questions or whatever. We want to get the word out to people that there's a support network for them, and we're a lot of fun too. Like,
I,
we're fun.
I mean, I think so.
I think we're awesome.
I, I, I think we're kind of cool.
I
I
think
mean,
we're wicked cool.
right. And we got cool people that come on with us.
That's right. So we must be cool.
So when are you going back to Arizona?
As soon as possible. Like, I can't get back there fast enough. Like, literally, I am a frequent flyer. I have been there, what, 4 times, guys, now since May?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Lana and I just did a road trip together, Thelma and Louise. We
Yep.
went to business um retreat in California
Nice.
With Purium.
with Perium, yeah. And it was
Oh,
amazing.
okay. I think I saw that on Facebook or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
We learn so much. Like,
Oh my.
so fired up about what's coming with this company and what they have to offer. It's really quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything as grassroots as this, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Me too.
Yeah, because I just read somewhere that, ideally fruits and vegetables, fruits and vegetables in your protein, but your fruits and vegetables have a fraction of the nutrients in them that they used to have. So even
Absolutely.
that is so tough, you know, to
Yeah.
get what you need
Absolutely.
out
Get
of
your
it.
power
And-
shake.
And nobody's growing anything anymore. I mean,
Mhm.
I do, but I mean, most people don't.
Mhm.
And, you know, I grew up, grandma had a huge, huge garden, but most kids don't get to see any of that anymore. Or be-
Right.
They don't know where a carrot comes from. They think it comes in those little bags, and that's, you
Right.
know, that have
Already
been,
peeled and everything?
right, that have
Yeah.
been soaking in like chlorine, right? That's,
Chlorine. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where
Yeah.
does where does a potato come from? Why is it a tuber? You know, it's like,
yeah.
Yep.
So also let us know, everyone, what you would like to have us talk about. We'd love to help you on what you're interested in. You can always put in the
Yep.
comments or
Email
reach
is
out
on
to
the
us.
drop down, right, Lana? Our
Yeah.
email is on the drop down
It,
description.
it
Yep.
sure is. Yeah.
You want to shoot us an email and ask questions?
Nurse in the Psycho Show at
That's right.
Gmail.
At Gmail.
All right. I'm going to stop recording. Thanks, everyone.